Live from the Museum Studios, the 17 and Me Show, starring Ambassador Jeff Rivero, inviting you to join our special guest,
Mary Robinson from the Merced School Employees Federal Credit Union.
And here we go!
Welcome to the 17 and Me Show, the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals Show. I can't wait to interview our special guest for tonight, Mary Robinson. She's the marketing manager for the Merced School Employees Federal Credit Union. That's where most of the Merced Union High School District employees keep their money. I can't wait to ask Mary, where do fish keep their money? At the riverbank? What about penguins? I heard it's at the snowbank. Our IT guy on campus, Alec, I heard he keeps his at the data bank. I need to let Mary know that I need a new banking account. I think mine's broken. It keeps running out of money. I'm so broke I wasn't able to pay the electric bill this month. When they turn off my lights, I guess you would be able to say I'm living in dark times. And finally, when does it rain money? When there's change in the air. This is great. I can't wait to interview Mary Robinson. She'll be back right after our commercial break from the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals.
We can be.
We must be the first generation
to end extreme poverty.
The generation
Most determined
To fight injustice
and inequalities.
The generation that saves the planet from climate change.
And this is how it will get done.
The global goals
a 15-year plan
For everyone, everywhere.
with no one left behind.
We will live in a world
where nobody
anywhere lives in extreme poverty.
Where no one
goes hungry.
where no one
wakes in the morning.
Asking if there will be food today.
We will live in a world where no child has to die of
Diseases we know how to cure.
And where proper health care
is a lifelong right for us all.
We will live in a world
where everyone
Goes to school.
and education gives us the knowledge
And skills
for a fulfilling life.
We will live in a world where all girls and all women have equal opportunities
to thrive
And be powerful.
and safe.
We cannot succeed if half the world is held back.
We will live in a world
Where all people can get clean water.
And proper toilets
at home,
At school.
and at work.
We will live in a world where there is
sustainable energy for everyone.
Heat, light,
and power for the whole planet.
without destroying the planet.
we will live in a world where economies prosper.
and new wealth.
Lead to decent jobs.
For everyone.
And we will live in a world where our industry
Our infrastructure and our
Best innovations.
Are not just used to make money, but to make all our lives better.
we will live in a world
where prejudices and extremes of inequality
Are defeated.
Inside our countries,
And between different countries.
Where people live in cities and communities
that are safe, progressive,
And support everyone who lives there.
where we replace
What we consume.
Planet where we put back what we take out of the earth.
We live in a world that is decisively rolling back the threat of climate
change.
where we restore and protect the life in our oceans and seas.
We'll restore
and protect
life on land.
The forests,
Animals. The earth itself.
with peace between and inside countries.
where all governments are open.
And answer to us for what they do at home and abroad.
And the justice rules.
With everyone equal before the law.
Where all countries and we their people.
work together.
Partnerships of all kinds.
To make these goals a reality.
These are the United Nations global goals.
For sustainable development.
Let's get to work.
Welcome back to the 17 and Me Show. Big thank you to our sponsors, the United Nations. Our very special guest on tonight's show is Mary Robinson, the marketing manager for Merced School Employees Federal Credit Union. How are you doing tonight, Mary?
Good, I'm doing well, Jeff.
Well, Mary, let's kick the interview off with a background question. I'd like to ask you, what was your infrastructure that helped lift you up into becoming a marketing manager?
Well, I'm actually locally from Merced County as well. And so I went to Atwater High. After that, I went to Fresno State. I got my degree in business administration with an emphasis in marketing. And so, when you go to college, you don't necessarily always know if you're going to use that degree. But after a few different jobs, I ended up back in Merced County and started working in the banking industry. When I started working for Merced School Employees Federal Credit Union, there was a position open in the marketing department. And since I did have a degree in that, it just kind of made sense to apply for it. So anyways, that's how I got into the marketing department. And I just kind of worked my way up in here as well. But it was a great experience. And I'm glad that I can actually use my degree and be here and work for the community and be here for the community.
Mary, what did you do when you came upon an obstacle? Did you have a lot of obstacles? Were there few and far between? And how did you react to them?
Obstacles is a hard word for me. I was just always taught from a very young age that you just push through it. And so anything that came up in my life, I did have a very good support system that helped me through things. My mom and my dad, they were always there for me. Any advice that I needed throughout my lifetime, they were the first go-tos that I ever had. But, again, I was just taught that if there's something that you want to get, go out there and go get it and do what you need to do to get it done. And so that's what I did. Any obstacles that did come up in my life, I did marry young, and he did go off into the military to Afghanistan. And so that was definitely a huge obstacle in my life. And I was in college during that time. So, pushing through that was really tough. But again, I had a huge support system. And so, and I had a very good mentality to keep a positive attitude and to move forward. And so that's exactly what I did. And it's the motto that I continue to use today. And it's always worked out for me.
Mary, I know the Merced School Employees Federal Credit Union has a lot of outstanding youth programs. I know one of them is career technical education, working with our school district, Merced Union High School District. Would you mind getting into some detail of what you do for our area's youth?
Yeah. So, the credit union philosophy is people helping people. And so we are very strong believers in that. And we are dedicated to our community here. So one of the things that we have done in the past few years is we have actually opened up student-run branches on 4 of the local high school high school campuses. And so that's actually been a really, really neat program. So our first branch was actually opened at Merced High School. And so they approached us and they had heard of a similar program and asked if we were willing to do something similar with them. And so after we've researched it and everything got approved, we finally opened our first branch at Merced High School. And so we have a branch on campus. It's in a room. And we hire students. So the students are attached to a program. At Merced High School, they're attached to an accounting program. And so they have a teacher supervisor who works directly with us. But they help us find the students that will be working in the branch. Those students, once they're hired, they do have to go through an interview process with our CEO and our teller manager. So they get full world experience on how to interview with real world people who actually work in businesses. So once they get hired on, they do have to come to us and they train with us during the summer. And so that's a really neat experience, not only for our employees, but also for our membership. Our members are really used to seeing high school students training in our branches over the summer, and they actually like seeing them in here, because everybody, especially adults, we love to see the youth come in and actually get real world experience and get out of the house during the summer and do something to better their lives. And so they come in and they train just like I did when I was a teller, and we worked directly with them, and they are in our branch over the summer. And then once the school opens up for the school year, they actually go to their branches and they work in their branches, and they're tellers there. And so it's a great program because these kids are actually getting paid for any time they're in their branch. They get paid. So they do earn a paycheck, and they're getting experience while being on campus. And so beyond that, we try to work a little bit more with them on marketing. So part of the requirement is they do work with the marketing department, and we teach them how to promote their branches, how to get out to the students and convince the students that, hey, this is a good idea to open up a bank account before you graduate. Come in, open up your bank account. learn how to use the bank before you graduate to when you can start making those mistakes that are a little bit more hurtful once you're an adult. And so we actually have the students create PowerPoint presentations, and they go into their classrooms and ask their teachers if they can actually present a 5-minute presentation on what a credit union is and why it's a good idea for them to bank with the credit union on campus at such a young age. And it's actually going really, really well. So like I said, we have the 4 branches. 2 of them are Merced Union High School District campuses. The other 2 are actually in cities that are a little bit more rural, and they do not have a bank there. So we have one in Delhi, and we strategically chose the Delhi and then the other ones in LeGrand. So our Delhi and LeGrand branches were strategically chosen to offer a bank within their small rural town. And so those are all on open campuses, and the community is, it is open to the community so that they can come in and do their banking as well. And that's been a great program too. So those are open on Saturdays. That way, you know, people who do work, they can get their banking done on Saturdays. But, you know, working with these kids directly has been just amazing for the employees, and myself included. We get to know them really well. It's interesting to see how they are in the beginning of the school year compared to how they are at the end of the school year, and how much more open they are, how much easier it is for them to communicate with adults. You know, even when I was a kid, I was very shy. And so to see them come out of those shells and realize that they don't need to be intimidated by adults, and that, you know, it's not hard to communicate with them and feel like, you know, they're beneath them or things like that, you know, that they're equal to them. And so it really has been a great program. We've hired probably 6 or 8 of them full time after they've graduated high school. We do always encourage them to further their education. So a lot of times they'll work with us while they go part-time to school. But a lot of times they move on and they end up going to school full time, and we praise that as well. But we do have about 4 employees that started off in the high school branches, and now they are making a career out of it here, or at least for now. And they've even moved up. They're no longer tellers anymore. We have 2 of them that were in the IT department. We have some that are in new accounts. But it's really cool to see these kids start off and be young students, and then to watch them grow into adults. And so we're really proud of the program. We're glad it's here. And like I said, it's not even just the employees that enjoy it. It's our membership that enjoys it as well. And anytime we are out at the high schools and we get to speak to the parents just love that there's something like this on campus. Because even if they can't work for us, there's students who go there, they tell them to open the accounts. And it's fun because the parents will give them money and say, hey, go deposit this in your account. Or, hey, go ahead and get some money out of your account to pay for your lunch today. I'll transfer money into your account. But again, it's teaching them that real world experience on how to use this, how to use a bank account, and how to save your money. And so it's been good. We do have a lot of support from the staff on campus, especially at one of our campuses. One of the teachers there, he strongly believes in this program, and he thinks it is an amazing opportunity for the students. So he actually donates every year, and he donates his own money to put at least $5 in the student's account so that students will want to come in and open their account, even if they don't have their own money to start it. He says, I'll go ahead and start it for you. And then from there, take it on and use it as your account. But again, there's so many people in this community that want to see these kids succeed. And it's really neat to see them working directly with us to make that happen.
Well, Mary, that sounds like a great opportunity for students to gain career technical education experience.
So actually, speaking of career technical education, another thing that we do here that we strongly believe in is our financial literacy program. So one year, some of the teachers came to us and said, hey, you know, they really want to start teaching financial literacy in the high schools again. Do you guys have anything that you guys can offer up? And so we got on it and we started creating financial literacy presentations, and they were built for the classrooms for a 40 to 50 minute class period. And so we have several going right now, but we've really built up this program in our community, and it's great. So we go out to the high school classrooms whenever the teachers call us up, and we speak to the kids and we talk to them about the basics of banking, which includes, the difference between a bank and a credit union, how to fill out a check, why it's important to fill out your check correctly, how to fill out a check register, why it's important to budget, how to avoid overdrafts. And so that's always interesting. And then we have another one where we specifically talk on credit. We try to talk to these kids before they get into the credit world about why your credit score is so important, why it's important to protect it, and make sure that you're not doing anything negatively to your credit score, and why you need it in the future, and how it coincides with getting a loan. If you have a low credit score, then you might have to pay a little bit more. So we try to teach them how to keep all their hard-earned dollars in their own pockets as much as possible, and not make a lot of the mistakes that we've made in our younger years. And so that seems to work out really well. The teachers really love the program. They love the message that we're sending out to the kids. And hopefully, again, we are just giving them one more step up in the world so that it's a little bit easier on them than it was for us. And, maybe they're not asking their parents for advice on finances, or maybe their parents don't even know what the right answers are to tell these kids how to have a good relationship with their finances. So in that case, we can be there for them and kind of help them through that process. And so again, the program continues to grow, and we hope it will continue to grow. And we're getting new teachers on every year and adding to the presentations. And so it's gone over really well.
Another community outreach program that your credit union collaborated on was the Tags Not Bags suitcases for foster youth. You guys collected over 30 bags and had all kinds of toiletries, clothes, and things that foster care students would need. Do you mind going into detail how the credit union came about being so successful with that program?
Yeah, so Jeff here, he approached me and said, hey, some of my students have started this program and I want to present it to you. What do you think? And so when you gave it to me and said, hey, there are a lot of foster youth here in our community, and my students, one of them being a foster youth, wanted to create this program. And, it's something that I didn't even really realize that, a lot of foster students or foster kids, when they are being moved from a home to another home, most of the time they don't have luggage. They give them a trash bag and they put all their belongings into this trash bag. And so again, once you brought that to my attention, I was like, oh, anything that we can do to help. Well, one of the things, again, here at the credit union is people helping people. It's part of our philosophy. So I sent an email out to our staff and said, hey, we have foster youth kids in our community that need our help. And so if anybody would like to donate any luggage or any toiletries or anything to go inside it to help these youth, please donate. Well, I have a small office here, but my office, people just kept coming to my office asking me what I was doing with all these luggage. I mean, it was almost like it was coming down on me. So our staff did an excellent job by donating either gently used luggage or going out and buying new luggage. But either way, I can't remember the exact number, but we were able to donate a ton of luggage, a ton of toiletries, and then we were even able to donate some money to help fill the rest of those luggages. But it was an awesome experience. My staff loved doing it, and we hope to continue our partnership.
It's time for a sponsors break. We'll be right back.
The fact is, we've been serving our community since 1954. From our start in a shoebox to 4 full-service branches. From helping people save to helping them spend safely. From buying their first car to making home buying a reality. From teaching financial literacy to building high school branches. We here at MSEFCU are dedicated to serving our members. By giving back to them, we're giving back to the community we love.
This is my favorite part of the show, where I get to ask you, which one of the 17 SDGs is your favorite and why?
For me, it would be quality education. Even though I am in the banking industry, education is huge, and it's a huge part of my career here as well. Again, going out and teaching the financial literacy programs. quality education doesn't always have to mean going off to college and getting that degree. You can get educated many other ways, but you should always be furthering your education no matter what. You should always be researching new things and how to better yourself in all aspects of your life. And so whatever you can do to get education, whether that just means Googling things or going off to college and getting a degree, or even just going off to the local community college to better yourself in certain subjects. Education is huge. And again, it doesn't always have to mean getting, that 4-year degree or that master's degree. Just educate yourself in general. And, looking at this, there's so many different countries that it's so hard to get an education in, but here it is a lot easier. It's offered in so many different ways. And so take advantage of that because, it's necessary.
Time's really flying by tonight, but before you go, I'm going to ask you, do you have any words of encouragement or advice or wisdom for our audience or students that are still trying to engage with their passions and their goals?
Yeah. So, when I was young and when I was in high school, I was always very, very shy. And I can't say that I had a lot of confidence. But as I got older, that got a little bit easier. And I do a lot of exit interviews when the high schools have them. And I always try to tell the students, this is really hard right now, but it does get easier with time. But confidence is huge. Try to find your confidence in anything. Whether it's talking to somebody that, maybe is a little bit intimidating because they have a higher position than you, or, whatever the case may be. But whatever you do, go into it with a lot of confidence because it shows, people see it, and, they usually respect you more when you come in with such confidence. And so whatever that is to you, just make sure you're always working on your confidence level.
Well, Mary, I'm going to confidently ask you, do you have any links or addresses you'd like our students to go to for more information, especially if they'd like to find out about the career technical education aspect that the bank has?
Yeah, so you can always go visit our website. We're at www.mercedschoolcu.org. And so on that website, you can always even contact us about the financial literacy program that we offer here. We have a page dedicated to our high school branches as well. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about that. But yeah, you can always go to our website and learn more about what we offer here, even just as a credit union and, between loans and opening accounts and whatnot. But that is a good resource.
Well, Mary, thank you very much for being on tonight's show. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you, Jeff. I've really, truly enjoyed getting to know you over the years, and what you're doing for our community is amazing. And, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for always going out and being there for these kids that really need it.
Well, thank you for viewing our episode tonight. If you'd like to learn more about the 17 Sustainable Development Goals or to teach it in your class, please go to teachsdgs.org. See you again on our next episode of the 17 Mission.